So chair is what we'll be using today. Massage ball, 2 blocks, and I do recommend a blanket for Shavasana. So when we do Shavasana, I'll give you a preview. If you decide to stay in the chair for Shavasana, you can roll it, you can fold it so that it's kind of long, and you can put it behind your neck. And it adds some weight to the shoulders, helps the shoulders to settle. And it also supports the head, much like an airplane pillow, so that if you start to get a little tired or maybe doze off or something, your neck doesn't do that thing where, you know, it starts to fall back and startle you. So you can always keep it too on your lap, which is really grounding for some. And then if you choose to take Shavasana on your back using the chair with your legs up or legs down, then the blanket's just a nice little thing to have. It's soothing for stress. So if you're just coming on, we're using a chair, starting with a chair. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor. If your chair is too tall for that, then bring something under your feet, like a pillow or your blocks or blanket. Make sure you're not in a rolling chair, that you're in something that feels stable, and preferably something that doesn't have arms. But if it does have arms, you can modify and work around that. So we're going to start with just getting settled. You can close your eyes if you'd like to, or have a soft gaze toward the floor or even toward your lap. And take a big cleansing breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Go ahead and take a couple more of those. One more. And bring awareness to your feet, to your legs, to your seat. Feel the support behind your back, and allow the weight of your body to start to sink into your chair a little more. And as your body starts to settle, your breath may also start to settle. And just take a moment to acknowledge any stress that you might be feeling. Maybe in your mind's eye, you can just take little snapshots of an area or areas in your life that have been or are creating some stress for you. And notice what happens in your body when you start to acknowledge that stress. And if in this moment you aren't feeling any stress, then just notice what's happening in your body in general. And if you could give this level of stress a number from 1 to 10, 1 being hardly any stress at all and 10 being extremely stressed, what number would you land on for this moment in time? Just breathe into that, just acknowledging that as your truth right now. Exhaling, settling into your seat even more. We're going to bring in our pranayama today of ratio breathing, which is breathing into a certain count and then exhaling as we double that count. If it helps to place your hands on your belly or your belly in your chest, feel free to do that, and just start to inhale through your nose and count at a steady pace and see where you land when your lungs are full. And as you exhale, purse your lips and softly exhale through your open mouth, extending the exhale so that your count is about double that of the inhale. Take 2 more rounds of this ratio breathing. And when you're complete, let your hands rest on your lap or somewhere on your body that feels comfortable, and come back to a natural rhythm of breath. Knowing this ratio breathing helps to do a lot of things. It helps to initiate the relaxation response in the body. It helps to lower blood pressure. It helps to calm the nervous system and the mind. So I want to bring into our class today 2 statements from one of my teachers, Jivana Heyman. He wrote the book Accessible Yoga, and I've done a ton of training with him. He's a wonderful person, wonderful teacher. And he says yoga starts with the understanding that we already have what we need inside, and we just need to access it. So yoga starts with the understanding that we already have everything we need inside of us, and all we need to do is access it, which for me reminds me of the Jewish teaching and belief that we are made B'Tselem Elohim. We are made in the image and likeness of our Creator. Having that wisdom inside, having the clarity, having that divinity inside is always available to us. So we just have to create that environment for that to rise up. And it can't really rise up when we're in flight, fight, or freeze response. It can only rise up when we have quiet and peace and spaciousness and some sense of relaxation. And we can create that with yoga and with pranayama, breathing, and meditation. So my goal or my intention for today's class is to help us all reduce any stress that we might be feeling, and to create that quiet place within so that we can hear our own still small voice. We're going to start with this beautiful reading from our Siddur. It says, "Holy One, give me a quiet heart and help me to hear the still small voice that speaks within me. It calls me to come close to you and to grow in your likeness. It teaches me to do my work faithfully, even when no one's eye is upon me. It counsels me to judge others kindly and to love them freely, for it persuades me to see divinity in everyone I meet. Help me, God, to come to the end of each day feeling that I used its gifts wisely and faced its trials bravely." So if you jumped on after I mentioned we're going to do most of our practice from a chair, we're going to do most of our practice from a chair. And if you want to stand up at any point in time and do the asanas standing, please feel free. So we're going to start with a seated, we'll do a seated Sun Salutation, but let's warm up our feet first. So if you have your ball, you can bring it under your right foot. If this feels better to do sitting, or you can do it standing. Choose whatever way works for you. We're going to just get our feet warmed up. Just give them a little TLC. Notice any places that are sore. Maybe spend a little extra time there. If you are in the chair with your ball, it helps to sit toward the edge of your chair so you can put a little pressure. You could even lean down on your knee if you don't want to roll it around and you just want to do some pressure points. That's always a nice way to get into those spots. As you're working with your foot, split your awareness so that you are noticing your breath as well. Go ahead and switch sides. Move on over to the other foot. Breathing in through the nose and softly out through the mouth. So no rush here, just taking time with any sore spots. The more we slow the body down, the more the mind can start to also slow down and get calm. Good. Take another couple of breaths here on this side. And then go ahead and move that ball out of the way so it's not going to get in your way for anything you do. We'll do our seated Sun Salutation. So you can scoot to the edge of your chair. And when you're on the chair doing chair yoga, one thing to keep in mind is to watch out that your feet aren't tucked too far back, too close to the chair. You want to have your legs in a right angle so that you can even see like your toes, you know, so you can peek over and see your toes. This is going to give you a better base of support so that you don't come forward too far and then slip off the chair, which I have seen happen. So not in my classes, thank goodness, yet, hopefully never. So you've got a nice base of support. We're going to tighten the belly, bring it in, and hug the right knee toward the chest. You can hold on to the shin or you can hold on to the back of the thigh. If you need a strap at this point in time, you go ahead and use a strap. We're just going to hug the knee and create some compression in the joint there at the hip and do some ankle rotations. And you can even do a little side to side. This is why I said no rolling chairs, right? We want our chair to be stable so you don't roll off the screen. And then we're going to do some circles. Just warm up the hip. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. And then place that leg down. We're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Go ahead and take the back of the left leg or the shin and warm up your ankles. Maybe rocking from side to side or using those hands to help guide your thigh bone in circles. Whatever feels good. This is also really nice to do at the side of your bed before you get out of bed in the morning. The littlest things, and the body goes, hey, thank you for that. That's awesome. Good. Go ahead and put that foot down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Get lots of air. Breathe in. And this time, exhale and come forward is like a swan dive, right? And so some of you are going to just come halfway down because it might feel better for your back, and you might leave your head, your neck long like the rest of your back. Some of you might go ahead and let your head fall forward and come between your knees and let your head go. So just see what works for you. Take a couple of breaths here. Now listen carefully. You're going to pull your belly in, bring your hands to your knees or your thighs, and use your hands, squeeze your elbows into your ribs and help to press yourself up. It's almost like a little chaturanga if you've done chaturanga before. Elbows are close in, pressing yourself up. Go right into a cow pose, so open up the heart and the chest. Draw the elbows close to each other as you gaze up. Breathe in. And then exhale, round your spine, round it, gaze down toward the belly button, reach past your knees, spread those shoulder blades apart. And again into cow, inhale, as you create a nice big arch in the back, open the chest. Exhaling, do a couple of these on your own. Come back to neutral spine, gazing straight ahead. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale your hands to your heart. We're going to hold on to that right leg again. Give it a nice squeeze. You can lean back if you need to for support. Ankle rotations, point and flex. Give it a nice squeeze, as close as you can towards your rib cage. And release. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Left knee comes into the chest. Wake up that ankle. Big breath. And release that foot to the floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive to a place that feels good for you. Stay here for a few breaths. The forward folds are also very calming for the nervous system. Good. We're going to bring the belly close to the spine. So suck it in, hands to the thighs, elbows glue in towards your ribs. Start to come up right into your cow pose. Open chest, gazing up. Tailbone is reaching out behind you. Exhaling as you round, tuck everything into the shape of a C. Good, a couple more times on your own. Good. And back to your neutral spine. So you can scoot to the edge of your chair if you're not already there. We're going to do a little hamstring stretch. So extend your right leg out in front of you. That left foot is stabilizing your body by being not too close to your chair. You're going to squeeze your thigh. Squeeze it, like look at it and see if you can get it, the kneecap to kind of move as you squeeze your thigh without locking the back of your knee. And you're going to hinge forward. Just come forward till you feel a stretch in the back of your leg. Reach your toes towards your nose. As you reach your toes toward you, you'll really get into the back of the leg. Good. Breathe here. And even play with turning the angle of your toes out to the side or in. And notice how that changes the stretch for you. Good. Keep breathing. And come back up. We're going to change sides. Extend the left leg, squeeze the thigh, lift the toes. You're pressing your heel into the floor, and then hinge forward until you feel a stretch. Play with the angle of the toes. Good, bring that foot back. We're going to do that again, and we can add something if you'd like. We're going to extend the right leg again. Same setup. Bring your left forearm to your knee. Wow, my lefts and rights. Take a couple weeks off and I forgot them all. So you're going to support yourself here if that's available to you, and straighten that leg and get into the hamstring. And if you want to do a little twist, you can bring your right hand to your right hip and start to open up to the right side. If you've taken a twist, go ahead and come back to center and then change sides one last time here. Taking a twist if you'd like to. Just a gentle one. We haven't done a lot of twist warm-ups yet this morning. Coming out of your twist if you chose that, and come on back. Feet underneath your body. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, dive forward. Press into your thighs as you draw yourself back up to neutral spine. Good. Do some shoulder circles. Good. Shoulders are down. Now just tilt your left ear to your left shoulder and breathe into the side of your neck. You can reach your right arm down toward the floor with your fingertips, just like you're trying to reach for something. It's just out of your reach as your left ear moves toward your left shoulder. Tilt the chin up just a little bit. Good. You're going to roll your chin toward your chest and just very softly draw a line with your chin over to the other side toward your right, and then tilt your right ear over your right shoulder, and then take your left fingertips and reach for the floor. Maybe tilting the chin back just a little bit. Keep your breath flowing. And then start to bring the chin toward the chest and just draw a line across your collarbones just a couple of times, nice and slow. And then you can gaze forward. We're going to do some little jaw release. So bring your fingertips to your jaw, open and close, so you know right where the joint is. And then press in pretty firmly with your fingertips, and you can drag your fingertips down as you open your mouth. And do that over and over again. You start with the closed mouth, fingertips at the jaw, and then as you open, drag the fingers down toward the base of the jaw. This can be a little sore, so use whatever pressure feels right for you. And then bring your fingertips to your temples. We're going to do the opposite, so you'll press in gently to your temples. As you open your jaw, you're going to press your fingers in and up towards your scalp. And do that a few times. Be really open that jaw. Like stretch it out, stretch your lips out, open your mouth as wide as you can like a baby bird. Good. Now move those fingertips in circles all the way to the top of your head till you get right to the center of your head, and as you place your fingertips there, just move the scalp forward and back. Feel the scalp moving. Maybe you'll even feel your facial muscles moving around. Good. And then shake it out. And rest with your hands on your legs. Maybe close your eyes if that feels okay for you. And just noticing how you're feeling in this moment. Any shift in your body, your energy. And then recalling the level of stress, the number that you started with. Just recall that. And then we're going to move through a tapping technique. So I'd like you to think of one really simple few word affirmation, so related to your stress. So for example, if I'm worried about, going out into the world and catching a virus, right? I might say, I am safe. That's maybe what I need to hear from myself. I am safe. So you're going to take your stress, whatever triggers you're dealing with right now, and choose something positive to tell yourself. So take a moment to choose whatever that was. And if you have no stress, just pick something lovely to say to yourself. Okay, you have your statement. So you're going to say that in your mind, or you could whisper it or say it out loud even, over and over again as we go through and tap certain points in the body, acupressure points. The first spot is like the karate chop spot. So if you did a karate chop with your left hand, that little meaty area and on the side of the pinky, you're going to tap that area with your fingers of your right hand. Just start tapping it. And start to say your affirmation. Good, and we're going to move to the top of the head where we were just massaging a minute ago, and continue saying your affirmation as you tap the top of your head lightly. And now move your fingertips to the very start of your eyebrows, the very beginning of the eyebrows, toward the nose, and tap there. Say your affirmation as you bring the tapping to the outer edge of your eyebrows. And then right under the eyes, the bone, the circle bone under your eyes, you're going to tap under there, right in the middle. Good, and then right under your nose in that little divot, you'll tap there with your affirmation. And then as if you were wearing a bow tie, you'll take one hand and just tap under your collarbones. These are the spots we tap when we do the 3 thumps, by the way, so just tapping with either one or both hands. And then the rib cage. Good, and then shake out your arms and rest them on your lap, and just take a moment to breathe into that affirmation. And without any expectation, just noticing what level, number, stress that you are at right now in this moment. Has it changed? Has it gotten less or more? So a good rule of thumb for this practice is to notice the number you start with and do the tapping, and try to lower that number by at least a few. So if you start out at like an 8 of stress and you get it down to like a 6, then do it again. See if you can get it down into like the lower numbers, like less than 5, and just notice. Do it as many times as you need to. I find this practice extremely effective, and maybe you will too. So let's do some twists. So again, you can stand up to do these twists and do more like the kind of like where your arms are flapping around, right? Like a looser twist, or you can stay seated and just take a seated twist with your chair as your kind of a grounding support. So if you're doing a chair pose, your left hand's going to come over to your right thigh, and you can use your chair to help give you a little anchor as you gaze over your right shoulder. If you're doing the standing twist, just let yourself float and let go. Yeah, let go of anything that's in your body that you want to kind of shake out. If you're in a seated twist like me, you can switch over to the other side nice and slow. If your hips move a little with you, it's okay. That's totally fine. Good. If you're seated, go ahead and come back to stillness. Everybody come back to stillness. We're going to do a chest opener. You can do this standing up with goalpost arms, or if you're seated, you can do this sitting on the edge of your chair, and then reach back behind you, grab your chair, or hold the edges of the seat of the chair, and start to open up the chest and squeeze your shoulder blades together. If you're having goalpost arms, you're going to think of drawing those elbows down and back. And watch out for flaring of the ribs, like this kind of action. So you want to have your ribs living over your hips, and really the movement is in the upper back, and it's quite muscular. So you're using the muscles of the back to draw the shoulders down and in toward each other. Very strengthening for your posture. Take a couple breaths here. This is a lot of work, actually. And release. Good. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, fold forward. And then come back up. We're going to do a figure 4 stretch now. So if you're doing standing postures today and you like pigeon pose, you can take pigeon pose, or you can lay on your back and do the figure 4 stretch, which we do all the time. If you're in the chair like I am, I'll start anyway with the right leg as the lead. So crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. Good. I love seeing everyone's doing what works for them. And if you're in a chair, you're just going to hinge forward till you feel a stretch. We'll be in this stretch for a good 10 breaths. So take your time settling in. Keep your right foot active though, so that foot can be flexed. And with every exhale, really directing your breath right into that hip joint, just getting in there as you exhale. Imagine all of those muscles just starting to soften and melt. Anything that you were holding on to for all of 2021, any anger, any resentment, any of those feelings that get kind of lodged in our joints, just noticing if there's any part of those that want to kind of melt away, or if you still need to hold on to that. There's no right answer. Another teaching from my teacher Jivana is that each yoga pose is like a question, and each person has a slightly different answer to that question. And no answer is wrong or right, because they're all unique, just like you. And go ahead and softly come out of this right side. If you're in a chair, you might shake your leg, or if you were in pigeon, you might kind of shake that out. And then make your way over to the other side. So as you're softening and focusing on that left hip, is there any place else in your body that is doing more work than it needs to? Is there any place that could soften around this shape? Maybe it's something really subtle, like maybe your tongue in your jaw, or your jaw itself, or the muscles between your eyebrows. Settle into sensation. And then go ahead and come out of this side. We're going to do dead bug. So I'm going to do it from the chair. If you want to lie on your back to do this, you can. But if you're going to lie on your back, then you maybe might as well just stay in the chair, but make it harder for yourself by tilting back on the seat. So I'll do it from the side just so you see what it looks like. So if you can face forward though, it's fine. So We're going to sit upright and lift the right arm, and at the same time you'll lift the left leg, left knee up. And if you take your hand and feel the left side of your abdomen, you might even be able to feel the activation of your core on that side, and then lower down. And then left arm lifts up as the right leg lifts up. Draw your navel in, so you're using hip flexor and core here. So you're basically walking in place, but really lifting the leg and the arm a little higher. If you're, you can keep doing that. If you're looking for more of a dead bug with more core activation, you can lean back on your sacrum, and you can alternate, lengthening one leg and one arm and then the other. Or do this from the floor, but not if it hurts your back. A couple more. Good, and release. If you need to release your back by doing some hip, like some big circles or anything, or a little back bend, go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're going to move into a couple of traditional standing poses, but chair style. So if you want to take the traditional standing pose, you're welcome to do that. We're going to scoot to the edge of the chair and turn sideways. So I'm going to turn to my left and extend my right leg behind me and try to keep the foot on the floor. So my left knee is pointed to the left. This is our warrior two pose. I am very much on the edge of my seat, so be careful to scoot as much as you can and feel comfortable and safe. So our lower body's in a warrior two pose, and we're going to extend the arms and look over the left hand. Draw those shoulder blades in toward each other. Think of really activating the muscles between the shoulder blades as we did in the chest opening warm-ups. Breathe here. Now your legs are active here, so even if you're in the chair, you're still pressing into the floor and squeezing your inner thighs toward each other. From here, we'll reverse our warrior. So drop your back hand, flip your front hand, reach up, breathe into your side body. Come back to warrior two. We'll do that a couple of times on your own, just floating in between reverse warrior and warrior two. Good. Okay, we're going to come into you can come into a goddess pose, or if you want like a squat like this if you're standing with your hands on your thighs, or you can stay in your chair. So you're on the edge of the chair, you're going to really squeeze your butt cheek muscles to press your knees away from you. Hands are on the thighs, and then go ahead and let your right shoulder dip in. Come through center, and then let your left shoulder dip inward. Get in a nice little neck and shoulder stretch, whatever feels good. If this doesn't feel good, maybe modify it or change it. So we're inner thigh stretching right now as well, so use your hands to press your thighs open. One more set. Good. All right, we're going to go right into warrior two on the other side. So I'm just going to scoot so that I'm facing my right side now. Those right toes are facing to the right. Back leg is as flat on the floor if possible. If it's not possible, it's okay. Just keep the legs active. Gaze over your right hand. Breathe in. Feel your convictions, whatever convictions you have for your life right now. Just tap into the power and the strength of your own convictions. And then reverse your warrior. Breathe, come back to warrior two, and just do this on your own. Let your breath be your guide. Good. Bring your hands to your legs. Come back into your wide-legged stance, either standing or seated, and go ahead and release your shoulders again, dropping one shoulder in toward the opposite knee, pressing the knees open. And then other side. Good, come back to center, and then we're gonna move now into a preparation for eagle pose. So you can take eagle standing without support. You could take it with the chair next to you to add some support, or you can take it seated like I will. So most of you know how to do the standing version if you want that. So I'll stay seated, especially with my ankle the way it is. So we're gonna take a block and bring it between the thighs. This actually, if you're doing a standing pose, you can do this seated because you wouldn't be able to do it as much otherwise. So go ahead and sit on the chair for this preparation exercise. So feet are, you can see your toes, the blocks between your thighs. You're going to squeeze your thighs together, squeeze the block. But at the same time, you're going to also activate your buns so they squeeze in together, and you might even feel like a little lift, like a little invisible lift in your height, and then release. And squeeze the block and squeeze your tush. Sit up nice and tall. Really activate all of the pelvic floor muscles and release. Do this on your own about 5 more times. Keep breathing. Good. Staying right where you are with that block there. Go ahead and bring your arms to a T. And then bring your right arm under your left and bend your elbows and come into eagle arms. And if that's not accessible because of whatever's going on with your body or the shape of your body, you can just bring your arms toward each other, or you could even just take a hug, a self-hug. So whatever eagle arms works for you today. Notice where you feel opening, where you feel stretch. What feels like it's working and contracting. Good. Release your arms. So we're going to come back into a T. Open wings here. And then opposite. Bring the left arm under this time. Come into your eagle. This might feel a lot different on one side than the other. That's okay. So these twists, these like twisty positions create a nice pumping action for the body. It kind of supports the lymphatic fluid to pump throughout the body. Good, and then release. So when we release, there's this like flush of new, fresh lymphatic fluid and blood. So shake out your wings. So we're going to bring in the lower part of the body now. So if you want to do a standing version, you can. I'll do the seated version. So we'll cross the right ankle or the right knee over the left knee to start. Sometimes you can get your foot tucked in behind your shin if you squeeze really tight, but that's not available to everyone. If that's not, you can use a block, and this goes for standing too. You can set the block up so that your toes have a place to land, a place to press down into as you squeeze your thighs together. So you've got right leg over left, and then the arms come back out, these wings come back out, and then bring the right arm under the left and come into your eagle arms. So you're either coming down in your standing position, starting to bend those knees. This is a very strong balancing pose if you're standing. If you're seated, feel the weight of your body on both sits bones and create that compression. Give a nice big squeeze to the legs and the arms. And then exhale, release it all. Good. And then we'll take the second side. Left knee over right. Arms out this time. Left arm under the right arm. And eagle pose, just taking on the energy of an eagle, that perspective, that eagle's eye vision of your life. And then release, open it all up. We're going to come back into, you can do this standing or seated. We're going to do cactus arms again. If you're in a chair, you can come to the back of the chair. And then open up your arms and just lean back. And as you exhale, give yourself a hug. Just really nice big hug. And just a little back and forth, like a hug and rock. Like you're just rocking and soothing yourself. Notice which arm is on top. Open up your arms again into cactus, lean back, breathe into the heart, and as you exhale, bring that other arm over the top this time. Give yourself a nice hug, maybe even a pat on the back. Good, and then release. For our last standing or chair pose, we're going to take a crescent lunge. So we're going to try to open up the quadriceps and the hip flexors. So we'll come to, the left foot's going to be the front foot, and the right foot's going to come back behind. So when we're standing, you can do it with right ankles, because the focus is tucking your tailbone and getting into the quadricep. But if you're on the chair or even standing and you want to lengthen back a bit more, it'll get a little more into the higher part of the hip flexor. So it just depends on what you need today. So choose how your back leg is going to be, but you're on your toes. And then everyone's going to activate the glute muscle on the right side and tuck the tailbone underneath. So you really get into this space in the front of the leg. And your arms can come up overhead, or you can hold on to your chair and use your right hand to reach up and maybe over. What kind of crescent lunge is going to serve your body today? Keep breathing. Good, and release. And we're going to change over to the other side. Right foot is in the front. Toes are tucked under you in the back. Squeeze your left cheek now. Tuck your tailbone underneath you. Engage your abdominals. And find your shape of your arms, whatever works for you today. And breathe into crescent lunge. Breathe into opening the front of the body. And release. Go ahead and come out of that. So we're going to come into another figure 4 stretch just to kind of see how things are doing. So and from figure 4, we'll do cool down in Shavasana. So if you want to move to the floor at any time from here on out, go for it. There's nothing else we're going to do standing. If you're in a chair, we're going to go ahead and come back into the figure 4. So the right ankle is over the left thigh or knee. And if you're in a chair, I'll encourage you, if it's not too tight and it feels like you've got some room, to hinge at your hip crease, hinge forward, maybe a little more than last time. And if you can, bring your hands to your shin. If you need a little help with that, you can put a block here and just kind of lean into it. Start to let the body cool down from your effort, from the positive stress that you added to your body over the last hour, the positive strenuous activity. Start to let that go. Release this right side and come into the left side. release the left side. And then take a twist of your choice, just letting the knees fall to one side and the upper body go to the other side. If you're in a chair, just repeating the twist we did earlier. Let some soft breaths move into the rib cage and the lower back. Relax your shoulders. Take your twist over to the other side. And come back to center, and then set your body up for Shavasana. Whether you're seated or lying down, set up your body, and then as we move into stillness, I'm going to guide you through alternate nostril breath, because I think today is a good day for a double pranayama session. So we'll do pranayama that helps to really soothe the nervous system. And I know many of you know it already, and I'll just guide a couple of rounds. And when we begin alternate nostril breath, if you want to just skip that pranayama and focus on belly breathing and relaxing the body, you're more than welcome to do that. This offering is for anyone who feels like they need a little extra support with stress today. So for alternate nostril, we'll take the thumb on the right nostril, and then we'll use the ring finger or even the middle finger on the left, and we'll alternate closing off one side and then the other. Your other two fingers can be on your forehead if that works for you. Go ahead and take a breath in through your nose, and then let it all out. And then close the right side and just breathe in through the left. Close the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right, exhale the left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Continue on your own for maybe 10 more rounds, and then come to natural rhythm after that. Shalom, 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 shalom. Holy One, give me a quiet heart and help me to hear the still small voice that speaks within me. It calls me to come close to you and to grow in your likeness. It teaches me to do my work faithfully even when no one's eye is upon me. It counsels me to judge others kindly and to love them freely. For it persuades me to see divinity in everyone I meet. Help me, God, to come to the end of each day feeling that I used its gifts wisely and faced its trials bravely. Shalom, 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 shalom. Begin to deepen your breath, to breathe as if this is your very first breath. As you exhale, letting go of anything that's ready to be let go of, and start to awaken your senses to the sacred space that you inhabit right now. And take all the time you need to gently rise up to a seated position if you aren't already in one, with your hands resting in prayer at your heart. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free. May all beings be loved. And may all beings have peace. May it be so. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shalom.